Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Delaney, and for today's video we are going to be doing another trying on new makeup video. I have a ton of new makeup to try, not quite a full face but a pretty decent amount, and a bunch of different brands to choose from as well. So I'm really excited to just dive in and kind of do a little get ready with me, but not as chatty, just more chatting about the makeup. But also, if you see two dots on my shirt, it's actually a smiley face. But where I'm sitting, you can only see the dots, so if you're confused about that, that's why. But we're gonna dive right in today. So if you are interested in seeing me trying on some new makeup, then keep on watching. First things first, I'm gonna put my hair up just so it's easier to apply my complexion products. Wow, how cute. Let's go ahead and start with the primer. So I feel like I have shown this in a video, but this is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. I'm gonna go ahead and use that as my primer for today. It's kind of new, but it's the newest primer that I have in my collection that wasn't from BoxyCharm. So I'm just going to apply that. This is super hydrating, smells so good. TikTok made me buy it and I am so happy I did. It is worth all the hype. I have not been able to put it down ever since I got it. It is just, if you have dry skin, this is absolutely perfect. It doesn't break me out any more than anything else does. It keeps my skin super hydrated. It makes my makeup last all day long. It is so good. And I mean, the fact that it's in pink packaging and smells like marshmallows is just an added bonus. And it's from the drugstore. It's actually a really nice price tag as well. So with the primer applied, it has soaked into my skin. Now we are going to go ahead and add some foundation. So this is the newest foundation in my collection. This is from KVD Beauty, and it is kindness vegan something or other. Now they changed it to something Latin, I don't know. And I don't care what the name is. I like the product. This I actually have tried once, which is why it's not perfect in there. This is not a first impression. I've tried it a few times. It's beautiful and I can't wait to show you. Okay, so this is the Good Apple Foundation Balm and I have shade Light 04. Love the packaging. I think it's really cute and sleek, and a little bit goes a long way. So yeah, it's not a super big amount of foundation. It should last me a while. So I like to apply this foundation with a brush. So this is actually a Sonia Kashia flat top foundation brush, and I have a little cover on it just so it doesn't get dirty. And what I do is I just make sure there's no dust or anything on the brush, and I'll just do a little bit of a tap in there. Not too much. I don't want to put too much product on the brush. And swipe. This shade is actually perfect for me. I was expecting this to be a little too deep for me, but it works so well. And as you can see, it's just sliding on beautifully. It's one of the easiest foundations to apply, honestly. I don't usually use a foundation brush very often, but with this one, I find that it just makes it go super fast and really even too. So I don't take it too close to my under eyes because that's what concealer's for. Here is what half of my face looks like. Let me just, wow. Like, the difference is crazy. It really is full coverage, but you don't have to build it up to super full coverage if you don't want to. Just take a little bit and build to your desired pigmentation, and it's beautiful. So that is that. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my foundation and I'll be right back. I know I'm looking a little bit ghostly, but just trust the process because this, when it's all done, is amazing. Now, I could build this up a little bit more, but I know that I'm going to be going over it with concealer, so I don't want to just keep piling on product. So yes, I'm aware that this thing is on my forehead, but this is what it looks like up close, and really I don't really see that many dry patches. It's not just sitting on top of my skin, it actually just sinks in, like, in a good way. It just meshes with my skin beautifully. I've tried this for a couple days now and I'm really enjoying it. Next up, we are going to be trying out the Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. Now, this is my first time trying this. I just got it in the mail today from my Ulta order, so this is gonna be fun. I have used the regular Shape Tape before. I actually did like it for a very long time. That was my concealer of choice, but it just got to be really expensive. And then I found drugstore dupes or drugstore things that compared enough for me to just buy the affordable one. So I am just going to do a dot here and a dot here, just because I don't know what the coverage is going to be just yet, but Shape Tape is known to be full coverage. So I'm gonna start with the less is more kind of philosophy and build from there. Ooh. Ooh, I'm so excited. So some people's main opinions about Shape Tape and main faults with it were that it was drying. So the Ultra Creamy is supposed to be the more dewy version of the super full coverage cement-like Shape Tape, which of course in today's beauty sphere, that is probably what most people are going to be gravitating towards because glowy and dewy makeup is in. But it used to be that it was just full coverage, matte, everything. Like that was just the norm. But I'm glad we're starting to reach for a little bit more dewy things because I am dry, because I have dry skin. So I kind of need those dewy products just to bring some life into my skin. All right, so this side has the concealer and this side does not. I think it did a great job of concealing the darkness under my eyes, even with, so remember I didn't bring the foundation all the way up under my eyes, and this is why, because I wanted to test the concealer. So far it's looking really good. I don't see any creasing just yet, but we'll see if that eventually happens. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side now. I will say it smells like Shape Tape. Like if you've ever had Shape Tape, you know that smell very well. But I mean, look at that coverage. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and blend this in and I'll be right back. All right, so here is the concealer all the way around, and I'm gonna fix this later. I have a method of concealing acne and it comes later. I don't go all in all at once, so just trust the process. Usually it ends up looking okay. But as far as the concealer goes, the coverage is beautiful. I actually do see less creasing underneath my eyes than I did with the old Shape Tape, which is a great sign. I like that it feels more hydrating underneath my eyes. It's not drying at all, and the coverage is beautiful as well. So just in case you were wondering, I use shade 12N, which is fair neutral. So if you are of my complexion, then maybe that shade would work for you. But we'll see how it comes together all at the end. So moving on, we are going to be using the new Tatcha, the Silk Powder. This packaging is gorgeous, but it's not weighted at all, which I kind of get because it can be taken in your makeup bag and stuff like that and be fine and not be just like a rock or a paperweight. But at the same time, this is an expensive powder, so I expect it to be a little bit more weighted, but maybe that's just me thinking that luxury products need to be weighted. I don't know, maybe that's an antiquated concept. I'm not sure. But I actually received this from Influenster, so thank you Influencer for sending this my way. So I actually got this free for review, and I will be reviewing it today. So it actually has this stopper thing in here that when you want to get out product, you just shake it. But it is a tinted powder. It leaves a little bit of a yellow cast, but not too much. It's good for brightening, so we're gonna go ahead and try that out. I'm actually gonna use just a fluffy thin brush. This is a Moda brush. I'm not sure what kind of brush. I imagine some kind of fluffy crease brush. And I'm gonna dip it into the powder and just dust off the excess. Okay, there was a little bit of creasing underneath my eyes, but I do have fine lines under there, so it does happen. But definitely not as much as with the other Shape Tape, the original. But I can see some blurring going on when I use this powder. You see how it just kind of blurred my under eyes a little bit? I kind of like it. Is it worth the $48? I don't know yet. I think that did a really good job of blurring. So I'm gonna leave it at that for now because I don't use that much powder because I am dry skinned. but I do like to set my under eyes just to minimize creasing. I am now going to go ahead and use the e.l.f. Putty blush. This is kind of, it's more new to me, but I also haven't shown it off on camera yet, so I figured now is the time. So I have shade Bora right here, and I have found that I like to take my finger and just go around and warm up the product first, because especially if there's dirt or something on top, you want to get that top layer off, and then you have a nice warm putty consistency underneath that initial hard layer. So what I like to do is I like to just go directly onto the cheek from my finger and just get a little bit of a base going here. And it's gonna look crazy at first. Again, trust the process. And then I like to take a kind of synthetic brush, doesn't really matter what kind, but this one's a nice angled one. This is a Billion Dollar Brushes Sculpting Duo brush. And then I'll just take, after I've applied it directly to my cheek, I'll take the brush, get the excess off, and blend from there. And this does a beautiful job of blending out. It really does. So it may have looked crazy when I initially applied it, but it does sheer out quite nicely. This is my desired blush opacity. I really do like this shade. I like how natural it looks on the skin, so this is a win in my book. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this side match this side, and I will be right back. I like to just take the excess that's on my brush and just go around my face just to kind of tie in that blush shade with the rest of my foundation. And of course, it's not depositing too much color, it's just the excess on there. You can either leave it dewy or you can powder it down, just depending on your preferences. But if you're going for that summer glow, then leaving it dewy is a beautiful option as well. Next up is a new brow product. Now, I am usually a fill your brows kind of girl, but I heard such great things about the NYX Lift and Snatch. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen. This is almost an exact dupe and probably a little bit better in my opinion than the ABH Brow Pen. I actually received the ABH Brow Pen in an influencer box and it looks just like this, but this is cheaper. So yeah, it's not that the ABH pen didn't work, it's just that this works very similarly and for a cheaper price. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start drawing some hair-like strokes in here. Now, I already do have pretty full brows, so this may not be intended for me because I do have some thicker brows, but if you need to draw in some brows, this will do it. It's so beautiful. I'm not the most experienced with drawing in brow hairs, but if you want that natural, like fluffy brow look, which is in right now, you could go ahead and take a brow gel and just kind of like make your brows go upwards and freeze them, like the ABH Brow Freeze or the NYX Brow Glue, whatever it's called. And then just add this in to look like you're adding just more brow hairs. But yeah, I think it makes it look more natural than just filling in my brows. So if I wanted to do a more natural brow day, this actually is a really beautiful option. I think that looks really good. Like this one looks a lot more defined than this brow, so that's a win. So it's really hard to do my brows and talk at the same time. So now that this is pretty much what I want to do with my brow, I'm gonna finish up the other one and be right back. So here are the brows. I really like the way they turned out. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. It is what it is. I really do like this brow pen. I think it's almost an exact dupe for the ABH one. So if you are into drawing hair strokes onto your brows and you want something that's gonna tint your brows, last all day, not budge, this is it. And it's from the drugstore, so you don't have to pay as much money. Moving on, so I'm not sure if I've shown this on camera or not, but this is the Loreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. This is a sun-kissed bronzer for face and body, and this is in shade 01 Light. I absolutely love this bronzer. If you are fair-skinned, this is a stunning bronzer. It has just the right amount of, like, I don't know, it gives you some life to your skin, but isn't sparkly. It has a little bit of a luminosity to it without being shiny, and it is the perfect shade if you are fair skinned. It is cool toned, not red, which is very important for a bronzer. But it's also it's not too dark. It's not too, like, it's not a contour shade. It is a perfect bronzer shade. And as you can see, I have used a lot of it. I use it every single day, and you can definitely tell. I will just do a little brief demonstration. So I take a big fluffy bronzer brush and just go right in. And look at that. Now, I did go really heavy on the blush, so obviously that's probably what you're gonna notice right away, but I like that you can just build and build and build and not have to worry about putting too much bronzer on. I am always afraid of that because usually they're too pigmented for me, but it adds the most beautiful sun-kissed glow for fair skin. I can't attest to the other shades that they have, but this one is my perfect bronzer shade, and I'm really glad that I found it, because I like to add it just anywhere where I need a little bit of warmth, but it's not so intense like a contour. I used to use contour for bronzer, and then I actually learned that there is a difference. Just look at that. And I like to take some and put it over the blush as well. So look at this half of my face, and then this half. Like, it just adds so much dimension to it. I really do love it. You know the drill. I'll be right back. Now that the bronzer is all done, I actually will go in with a little bit more concealer. I like to go in after I've powdered everything, just to give it like a solid base to work with, so it's not just going directly onto that skin. I know that sounds a little weird, but it is what it is. I've been dealing with acne for a very, very, very long time, and this is how I do it, so take it or leave it. But once the powder is down, as you can see, it goes away a lot faster. And this works with any spots that are still showing. I'm gonna leave it as that for the thing that's living on my forehead rent-free. But we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna do some contouring. And this is definitely not a new product, so I'm not gonna harp on this too much, but I'm gonna take the Filmstar Bronze and Glow Bronze shade. It's actually a sculpting shade, and I'm going to do some contour. And do that. Cool. This blends out so beautifully and looks really natural on the skin, but I also did a little bit of nose contouring, nothing crazy. I just kind of took the brush and went merp, merp, merp. Done. That's all I do. And then that leads us to highlighting. So I actually do have a bunch of different highlighters. I have this one from Give Me Glow. This is not as new in my collection, but I showed it for the first time in my highlighter collection video that I just posted, so I will link that in the cards if you are interested in seeing that. But this is such a beautiful highlighter. Like, I mean, it's stunning. This is definitely not subtle. There's no subtlety to this. It's beaming, like, oh, so pretty. But I also do have other new highlighters because I'm insane. I decided to get myself a little present, and I got myself the Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette, and this is in Glitz, and I really do like this. At first, I'm gonna be 100% honest, I was very underwhelmed, okay? When I swatched it, it was just barely coming off of the pan and everything, but I realized that you have to get that first initial layer off, and then the beauty starts. So these top two are a different formula than the bottom two. This shade right here is like a metallic wet highlighter. The top two are basically a transparent base with glitter. So you have to know that in order to work with them nicely. But if you take this peach shade, which is a very wet, dewy highlight, so pretty, and it actually works for my skin tone, which I was shocked. I thought it was gonna be a little too deep for me. But if you take that metallic highlight and then take one of the two glitter shades on top, which is this one right here, They just make such a beautiful glittery highlight. So if you are into that, this one might be for you. But I also have another highlighter because I'm insane. This is the Diamond Glow highlighter. This is brand new from Kaima Cosmetics. Kaima Cosmetics is an indie brand, and I believe they're based in the UK. And this, when I saw it on Instagram, I had to have it. Look how gorgeous. Now, the Dior Backstage highlighting palette and this highlighter just came in the mail, so they did not make it into my highlighter collection video. But they are stunning nonetheless. Here is the Kaima Cosmetics Diamond Glow. It is just glitter. I mean, it's transparent base with glitter, but it's still a beautiful highlight. But if you were looking for something metallic and not glittery, this is not for you. This is all glitter. Now that we got that straight. I'm gonna take this Sigma Powder Sweep F06 brush, and I'm gonna go into Peach, which is this shade at the bottom. And I'm gonna show you how I can make this work for my skin tone. This brush is more of a diffused brush, so if you want it to be extra impactful, then you switch to a more targeted, precise brush. So I'm gonna take that same one. See how much more intense that got just by switching the brush that you use? You just kind of have to play around and see which method of application you prefer. All right, so there's the peach one on its own, which on its own, it's still beautiful, but it's not as blinding as I usually go for. But if you want a sophisticated, wet, like professional looking highlight, this is something that I can wear to work and I don't feel like I have a beaming cheekbone. But I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this pink glitter shade, which is Glitter Strobe Pink Gold, aptly named. I like that. So I'm gonna take this brush and just sweep it along the cheeks, and look what that just did. Oh, that's so pretty. I don't think it emphasizes any texture on my cheeks, even with the glitter, so I still really like it. But if we want to add even more glitter, I'm going to take the Kaima Cosmetics one, and I'm just going to do a little bit right on top with that same brush. Woo. Yeah, that took it to a glitter next level. Now it's a lot more in your face. And I'm happy with it. This is such a beautiful pan too. I mean, come on. Ugh, I love it. And this is a new launch from them too. And I want to support more indie brands, so I'm really happy to have it in my collection. All right, so highlighter is done. We're glowing sufficiently for today. I will be using this eventually. I'll probably use it on my inner corners as well. But let's move on to eyeshadow. So I have a couple palettes to choose from that I have not used on camera yet. I have the e.l.f. Chipotle collaboration, which I have tried and I really do like. And you can get a bunch of different looks from that. I also have the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I got this from Sephora a little while ago, and I have been loving this one as well. I also have the Hot Ombre Cosmetics Smoke and Glow eyeshadow palette. Since you probably don't know what this looks like, this is the inside. It is beautiful. It is a great, like, half neutral, half colorful palette with a bunch of pops of color in it. And this black shade is the perfect eyeliner for me. I always use shadow as my liner, and that works beautifully. But I think I'm gonna hold off on this one because I wanna do a dedicated video to this. So, oh, I just got a new palette. I also just got this in the mail today. This is from the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale. I got this on sale for like, I don't know, 10-ish bucks. This is the Nabla Cutie palette in plaid. And these shimmers just called to me. So I think, I kind of want to do this today. I know my shirt is a little bit golden and bright, but I feel like this could be a nice sultry look. So I'm gonna go with this. This is my first time trying Nabla's formula as well, so that's another reason I want to show you on camera, because I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it, and first impressions are fun. So I'm gonna go with Aristocracy first, which is the lighter brown matte shade, and I'm going to just dip it in there, and there's really no fallout or anything. I'm gonna dust off the excess. All right, so I'm gonna start to buff this lighter brown matte shade into my crease. Ooh, so far it's actually like a nice buildable formula, and it's blending out beautifully. It's not sticking to any parts of my eyes like some cheaper shadows do. That is gorgeous. We're gonna go in with Tenebra. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Sorry if I butchered it. But we're going to kind of just deepen that outer corner. Ooh, the pigmentation on these is actually beautiful. It really didn't take much to build. And I like that it comes with a mirror. So the reason that I went with this palette, they actually have a bunch of different Cutie palettes that were on sale. The reason that I went for this one in particular was because it really reminded me of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette, which I love. That was one of my very first eyeshadow palettes, and I still use it today. For some reason, that kind of color scheme, that cool toned, neutral kind of color scheme is still my go-to. There was one that I really did want as well, but sadly it was out of stock by the time that I went on Ulta's website, and it was the berry one. I really love berry tones, so I was looking forward to that, but it's okay. I still got a really nice palette to try. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of Aristocracy, and I'm gonna go towards the center on my lower lash line. Now I'm going to go in with the Sigma blending brush, and I'm going to go back into Aristocracy, which is the lighter brown matte, and I'm just going to go and buff out around the edges where I applied that darker matte shade, and just make sure everything is nice and smoked. I'm going to go ahead and stop blending for right now, and I'm going to do the shimmer shade and then go from there, because it doesn't have to be perfectly blended until later. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of Gem System to the kind of outer portion and see how that lays down. Ooh. Wow. All right, Nabla. Nabla knows how to do shimmer. That's what I'm learning from this. That's a beautiful kind of gunmetal shade. Oh my gosh, it feels a little bit dry when you put your finger in it, but it applies gorgeous on the eyes. And it is so sparkly. I mean, wow, can you see that? Like, look at the glitter. Oh my god, that's so beautiful. All right, well, now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and add Luxuriance, which is that bright silver. And this is much softer. Oh my gosh, it looks wet. It looks like chrome. Wow, that's, wow. All right, let me get a little closer here. Oh my god, look at that. All right, I like the shimmers so much. I'm just putting the lighter silver towards the inner portion of my lid, just so it has a nice gradient. That is so stinking beautiful. Wow. I don't even know how to describe this. This is really pretty. I will say I am liking the shimmers better than the mattes, but the mattes are still beautiful, and you can really get a beautiful look out of them. But those shimmers are just insane. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the Late Night Coastin highlighter from Give Me Glow, and I'm gonna use that as my inner corner highlight, and you're just gonna see how blinding this is. I mean, come on, look at that. I'm gonna go ahead and use something that I've seen on TikTok all over the place. This is the Maybelline Sky High Mascara. It was actually really hard to find in my area when I went to visit my grandfather. They had it near him, so I guess that's a sign that I need to get it. I will say, like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of product in here. It's really lightweight, but I actually do really like the mascara. This is the wand. It's nothing crazy, but let's do some mascara. So this is definitely a mascara that you'll need multiple coats of, but it builds really beautifully and gets you to the point where you could definitely be without falsies, at least for me, because I'm a natural lash kind of girl anyway, so I just prefer my natural lashes. But this mascara does such a beautiful job of coating every lash and lifting it and separating it beautifully. It's not as much of a volumizing mascara though, I will say. It's definitely more of a lifting kind of deal. But the more you build, the more volume you get. All right, so this is one coat with the top lashes, one dip in there, and this is it compared to nothing, and clearly it does a great job. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my mascara, and I'll let you know how many coats it takes. Alrighty, so the eyes are done, and they are awesome. This Nabla palette blew me away. The mattes are good, but the star of the show are the shimmers. I mean, they are just so metallic. Look at this copper shade. I mean, come on. And the gold. Like, this is beautiful. This is such a beautiful neutral palette. Like, I am so content with this purchase. It's crazy. But I went ahead and finished the mascara, and it only took about 1.5 coats for the top lashes to get to where they are right now. And then for the bottom lashes, I actually use a different mascara. I use the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara just because it has such a beautiful skinny wand, perfect to get into those areas in your eye, on your under eye. So this works beautifully for lower lashes, and then I kind of just take it and just kind of fan out the top a little bit. But I am so happy with how the eyes turned out. Like, they just shine from far away. It looks like I have metal on my eyes, and I'm okay with it. You know what? Just for fun, because we're just doing it, I'm going to take some of this highlighter because it didn't really get its chance to shine other than the inner corners. I'm going to show you how I can take this and make it beaming. Because we have like a subtle, beautiful, sophisticated glow right now, perfect for work or whatever. There is nothing subtle about this. Obviously, when you concentrate it with your finger, it's going to be much more bright. But even with a brush on the face, it is still really, really intense. Like, wow. So for lips, we have something new. I'm gonna be using some Hot Ombre Cosmetics because the palette didn't really get its time to shine, so we're gonna be using some of these today. So I am going to be using the Immortal Matte Lip Kit in Naked Sunset. This is one of their newer shades, but the brand new product is the Transformer Gloss. This is in shade Baby Girl. This brand, Hot Ombre Cosmetics, is run by CC Clark. This is her brand. She just had a baby girl and she named this gloss after her. It has pink flakes and like blue. It has like a pink and gold shift in there. It's gorgeous. And then the Immortal Matte Lip Kits I have been using over and over and over again. I cannot stop using them. They are my favorite liquid lipstick formula of all time. They last all day and are just so beautiful. All right, so we're gonna use Naked Sunset. And we're gonna be using Naked Sunset, and I'm gonna go in with step 1, which is Naked. So we're gonna be doing a lip ombre here. So it has this beautiful little doe foot applicator that really hugs your lips. It really makes it easy to line your lips too with the shape of the brush. So pretty. All right, so this is step 1, Naked. And honestly, I could just leave it here. It's beautiful, really comfortable. The color is gorgeous. And it doesn't make my teeth look yellow, at least in my opinion. Maybe you think they do, but. And then now we're gonna be going in with step 2, which is Sunset. And this is actually a metallic end. And you're gonna tap it out. And there you have it. It almost looks glossy by itself because of that metallic shade in there. But honestly, I love the way this looks. Naked Sunset is one of my favorite shades of these lip kits. And we're just gonna make it even better by going in with the Hot Ombre brand new Baby Girl Transformer Gloss. Now, this smells like vanilla. It smells so good. I don't know what it smells like, actually. I think it's vanilla. It smells really good, whatever it is. But it has this cute little triangular applicator and these beautiful pink reflex in there. And we're just gonna go right on top. And this gloss was made to go directly on top of these lip kits and to transform the shades so it can be used with any of her lip kits, and it just adds this beautiful pink glittery dimensional look and makes your lips look juicy and soft, and I love it. I really do. And it instantly boosts your lips with hydration. It feels so good and comfortable on the lips. And the color will still last underneath the gloss, which is amazing because I don't know if you're like me and a lot of different liquid lipsticks. If you put a gloss on top, it'll pick it up and the color will just go away, especially if you eat. But these liquid lipsticks last so long, and if you pair it with this gloss, the color does not transfer. Just the gloss came off. Isn't that cool? But this is beautiful. So I am so happy with how this turned out. It is gorgeous. It's neutral, but it pops. I love it so much. It doesn't even look bad with the shirt. I thought that it was gonna kind of clash a little bit, but I'm kind of liking it. But I know we have like 4 different highlighters on my face right now, but it's okay. That's my favorite part of the makeup routine anyway. So if we were gonna go overboard on any step, that's rightfully that one. But I hope you enjoyed watching me apply all of these new products to my collection, and I hope you got maybe some ideas of what products you may want to try in the future as well. I actually don't have a single product in here that I didn't like. I know some of them were not first impressions, but even the first impressions were so good. I'm very happy to have them in my collection, and I will definitely be getting even more use out of them in the very near future. So some of these items you may be seeing in upcoming collection videos, so keep a lookout for that. But sadly, the highlighter collection is done for 2021. So Diamond Glow highlighter as well as the Dior Backstage face palette will not be featured in that video, sadly. But they still are beautiful, and I'm so happy to have them in my collection, and obviously they're not being decluttered because they just got here. But I think this look turned out beautiful. So happy with this. I would definitely recreate this look in the future. Ugh, so nice. I'm definitely getting the sultry vibes from this. Really happy with it. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having an amazing day or night wherever you are. Please remember, if you like this video, to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and join my family here on YouTube if you would like to. And that is all I have for you today. Let me know what your favorite product that I tried on in today's video was down below in the comments. So that's all I got. All right, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye guys.